而家夠人啦，我哋開始
All right, we have attained the quorum. I now call the meeting to order. This is a regular House Committee meeting. Item 1, confirmation of the minutes of the 7th meeting held on November the 16th. We've received no proposed amendments. Can I take the minutes as confirmed? All right, minutes so confirmed. Matters arising, report on our meeting with the CS. There is nothing in particular to report. Business arising from previous council meetings. Legal Service Division report on subsidiary legislation gazetted on November the 16th and tabled in council on November the 21st. Jimmy. There is one item here, basically in relation to the Kimberley process certification scheme. There are 2 countries to be added. For the diamond transaction with the Republic of Cameroon and Swaziland, this falls within the import and export regulation. We've submitted the report. I've got nothing much to add. Do you see the need for a subcommittee? If not, the deadline for amendment is December the 19th. Next, further business for council meeting on November the 28th. Report number 5/12 to 13 of House Committee on consideration of subsidiary legislation and other instruments. There are 2 members who have indicated their intention to speak on the 3 items of subsidiary legislation, and I will move a motion at the council meeting to take note of the report. Questions? Mr. Albert Ho and Mr. Alan Leung have replaced the oral questions. Business for council meeting on December the 5th. 20 questions. Bills, no bills for first and second reading, nor government motions. Members' motions. Mr. Albert Chan would like to propose a resolution under the LegCo Powers and Privileges Ordinance. And that is to appoint a select committee to inquire into the discontinuation of sound broadcasting service by DBC. Each member will have a speaking time of 15 minutes. The next motion is EXCO as a gatekeeper for MTR fares, and this is proposed by Mr. Michael Tin. The next one is the motion on supporting the development of securities industry by Mr. Christopher Chung. Deadline for giving notice of amendments is November the 28th, a Wednesday. A list containing 5 items of subsidiary legislation, the period of amendment of which will expire on December 5th, has been tabled for members. If members would like to make an amendment or would like to speak on those legislation, please notify the Secretariat on November the 27th, a Tuesday, by 5 p.m. Report of the Subcommittee on 5 sets of amendment rules made under Section 73 and 73A of the Legal Practitioners Ordinance in gazetted on October the 12th. Mr. Dennis Kwok.
Chair, the 5 sets of amendment rules are made by the Council of the Law Society of Hong Kong under Sections 73 and 70A of the Legal Practitioners Ordinance, with the prior approval of the Chief Justice. According to the Law Society, amendment rules seek to modernize and codify the requirements for solicitors to account to their clients for interest on money deposited with them under the solicitor's accounts rules. The subcommittee has discussed the following issues. The proposed new rule stipulating the principles that a solicitor must observe in handling clients' money. To propose a requirement that a client account must be an account at a bank located and licensed in Hong Kong and a waiver provision, and the drafting of certain provisions in the amendment rules. The subcommittee supports the objects of the amendment rules and agrees that certain amendments should be made to improve the drafting of the amendment rules, and those amendments have been agreed. It is noted that no information such as that provided by the administration in its legislative brief has been provided by the Law Society to explain the background to the amendment rules to facilitate members' understanding of the amendments. But members have managed to resolve their differences at the meeting and subsequently by circulation. If I may make a side observation as a member of the House Committee, that during the deliberation, the Department of Justice has not fully explained its role in the making of the amendment rules undertaken by the Law Society as a non-governmental body. And during the course of the scrutiny by us in LegCo, there may be a need to take a closer look at an appropriate forum into the respective roles of the Department of Justice and the Law Society in future similar exercises. Those are my report. Thank you, Chairman.
好啊，我提醒同事對。
Right. If members would like to make amendments, the deadline to do so is December the 5th. For amendments, the deadline is the 28th of November. The next one is a report of Subcommittee on Telecommunication determining spectrum utilization fees by auction, Amendment Regulation 2012, and telecommunications designation of frequency band subject to payment of spectrum utilization fee, Amendment Order 2012. Mr. Charles Mock, Chairman, the amendment is to designate an additional band, i.e. 2635 and 2660 megahertz band, and this is subject to the spectrum utilization fee, and this also specifies SEU to be fixed by auction. We had a meeting with administration. We had discussions on the subsidiary legislation. We discussed subjects like the assignment of available radio spectrum, licensing, SUF, license fee, spectrum trading platform, and so on. All the details are set out in the written report for members. At the request of the subcommittee, the administration will make a response in whether the administration will make public the consultancy report on the feasibility of introducing spectrum trading. The subcommittee in general is supportive of the subsidiary legislation, although some members would like to speak on the subject at the council meeting on December the 12th. Thank you very much, Chairman. Thanks very much, Mr. Charles Mock. All right, for amendments, the deadline to do so is the 12th of December. The deadline for giving notice of amendments is December 5th. Position of bills, committees and subcommittees. Paper CB 2231/12 to 13. As said, November the 22nd, there are 7 subcommittees under the House and 3 subcommittees on policy issues under panels that are currently in action. All right, next paper of the Committee on Rules of Procedure, Mr. Tam Yu-jung. Chairman, in view of the fact that the number of members has increased to 70 in this term, the 4th term LegCo did look at the allocation of slots for moving motions not intended to have legislative effect. It consulted members. After the consultation, most of the members considered that the number of motion debate slots for each regular council meeting should be maintained at 2, and the allocation of these slots to members should be counted on a term basis. As regards the priority to be given to members most of the members agree with the proposal of the crop, and all the details are set out in paragraph 3 of the paper. 13A of the House Rule provides that at the Council meeting, the two motions can be two motion debates, or one motion debate and one adjournment debate, or two adjournment debates. The fourth term crop suggested that there had been no past case where a member who was allocated a debate slot chose to use the slot to move an adjournment debate. So we agree that we should amend 13A of the House Rule to specify that the slots for debate at each Council meeting shall be all for motion debates. Also, Rule 13A of the House Rule also provides that more than two debates may be allowed by the President under special circumstances upon the recommendation of the House Committee. In this connection, under Rule 16.4, most of the adjournment debates were allowed by the President on the recommendation of the House Committee. The fourth term crop decided that we should follow this procedure. On the 22nd of June 2012, the crop endorsed the proposed amendments, and on the 13th of November, in relation to allocation of slots, we did have some discussion. We noticed that in relation to Rules 13A and B, all the proposed amendments may have the unintended effect of removing the requirement that where two or more motion debates are already scheduled to be held at a Council meeting, a member who wishes to move a motion for an adjournment debate under Rule 16.4 of the Rules of Procedure at the Council meeting should first seek the support of the House Committee on his request. CROP agrees that this requirement should be maintained, and Rule 13 of House Rules should be suitably revised. CROP also notes that the need for consequential amendments to Rule 14A1 as a result of the amendments to Rule 14, they are set out in Appendix 2. CROP also considers that upon the approval of the House Committee, or the LegCo should we should apply these rules from the commencement of the fifth LegCo term in relation to revised Rule 14 of the House Rules. Any questions?
If there are no questions, members are invited to endorse the revised amendments to the House Rules and the recommendations put forward in para 8 of the paper. All right? If there are no other views, it's endorsed. Next item, proposal of Ms. Emily Lau to invite the Chief Executive to attend the Council meeting to explain the unauthorized building works at his residence on the Peak. Ms. Emily Lau. Thank you, Chairman. All right, 5 minutes for you, or no, I don't need 5 minutes. This is not a debate. Basically, I would like to seek the support of the House Committee to invite the Chief Executive to, as soon as possible, as soon as he can, come and explain his UBWs at his residence. Well, we met the CE yesterday. We told him that if he doesn't resolve the integrity issue that he's facing at once, this will cast a shadow over the governance of the whole administration. It would affect his governance as well. So we really hope that he could deal with the UBW issue once and for all, and as soon as possible. Chairman, I issued a letter to the House Committee and the CEO's office GC's office as well. And according to their response, the legal proceeding is still in progress, and he can only give a full explanation after at the conclusion of the court case. But in fact, Mr. Albert Ho has lost the case, and according to the legal sector, actually the whole case has concluded. What is outstanding is the costs. But I hope that with support of the HC, the chairman, you could urge the chief executive to explain the UBW issue to members of the public as soon as possible and give a full account as soon as possible. This is what all we agree, so I think we should give him this message. Anytime the chief executive would like to attend the LegCo and explain to us, of course we're welcome. We're going to hold a special meeting as well. Okay, I'll ask the Deputy Chairman to update you on this issue. Well, actually, the chief executive already issued a response online, and Ms. Lau, if you want to read his explanation, you can go online. All right, of course, he can do that online. He can call for a press conference, a public hearing, whatever. But what I'm saying here is to invite him to come to our council. So if we all agree, we can invite him to come as soon as possible. Maybe not as late as Wednesday, but tomorrow, or probably not, or the day after. But since he has given an explanation online, I think we can proceed with this discussion expeditiously. Mr. Yip Kwok Him. About the UBW issue, I think there is wide public concern, and many members, including myself, have already spoken on this subject. And I'm happy to know that with Mr. Ho's agreement, the case had indeed come to an end. I think that he should give an account to the public, and he should do that as soon as possible. Our Deputy Chairman said that he has just issued a response online. Well, I have yet to read it, but I think that one of the ways is to invite him to come to LegCo to give an account. So I think it's up to the Chief Executive to decide which way to take. And if some members agree with it, I think that we should give the Chief Executive this message and let him decide. I've asked the Secretariat to do a search online and distribute this this response to members as soon as possible. Mr. Wong Kwok Hing. Well, I think now that the case is concluded, the Chief Executive should at once or as soon as possible give a full account to the public and to take questions from the media. I think this is a quicker way than for him to attend LegCo meeting. This is one suggestion. It's up to the Chief Executive to decide whether to take it. But the most important thing is for him to give an account to the public and the media at once. All right, any other views? So as chairman of the House Committee, I will write to the Chief Executive stating that some members have invited him to attend the LegCo meeting to explain to us, and some other members have urged him to give an account to the public as soon as possible. Do we agree? I say there are two views here. Some members want to invite him to come here. Some members want him to account to the public. Well, of course, it's all right for him to make his explanation in other ways. But I don't think members are objecting to the idea of inviting him to LegCo to explain to us. Well, I haven't heard any objection, but I have heard some members saying that he could give an account to the public. Does it mean that this will spare him from coming to LegCo? Okay, this is what I'm going to write. Some suggest coming to LegCo, some suggest giving an account to the public. Mr. Lee again. No, I think a clear message is that he should come to LegCo to give an account. Otherwise, he could say that he has already explained to the public by issuing a response. But in fact, this is not sufficient. He should come to LegCo and take questions from us so that he can give a full account. And the only clear message should be to invite the chief executive to come to LegCo for a Q&A session or a special Q&A session and account to the council his integrity issue and the UBW issue. Mr. Sin Chung Kai. I think it's clear the administration should be accountable to the legislature. Well, other members urge him to make use of other channels to give an account. Well, he can do that any time. But our letter should focus on the invitation for him to come. He can do many other things, but the most important thing is to state the invitation in the letter. Mr. Michael Tien. Well, he has just issued a declaration or a statement. We just received it. I think it's being circulated. It's on my table now. We need time to assimilate the information therein. So I think this should be done first. We should assimilate his response to the public before we decide on our way forward. The statement has just been released. Should we ask people to come to take our questions every time we have questions? Well, in the past we urged him several times because he had not given any response. But now that he has, I think time should be given for us to assimilate the information before we raise questions, if any, next week. Mr. Wu Chi-wai. Ms. Emily Lau asked the chief executive to attend the LegCo to give an account. It's up to him how he would like to give his account. Chairman, you can issue a letter asking him to come. He can choose whether to come or not. What we want is to re-establish a mechanism under which the chief executive can be given this opportunity to explain about his integrity issue. And he can come to LegCo and explain to members of the public once again. Well, he issued a statement, and then the media will be following up on the statement and ask questions. And it will go on, and the public will never get a satisfactory account. So, Chairman, you should provide another platform for him to explain about it. He can choose what he would like to do, but at least, Chairman, you should provide different ways for the chief executive to choose. Well, Mr. Wu, I did not help the chief executive in doing anything. What I say is that, in short, I've heard two different views from members, and this is what I'm going to write to him. Mr. Eleanor. Now, this written statement issued online just now contains 51 paragraphs. And the chief executive tells a story, and then he says that he has not deliberately concealed any fact. He has always been prudent, and he would be frank, but all these are meaningless, because it's just a one-way dialogue. If he is really going to be honest and open, then what better way than to attend the electrical meeting and face the directly elected members? I don't believe that even having read his statement, we're going to fully accept that he has never tried to conceal anything. He has already tried his best. Well, this is the most suitable platform for him. If he's really honest and open, I myself and the Civic Party will support the proposal of inviting him to come to Electrical to explain to us and to take questions from us. Dr. Kwokaki. Well, whether the chief executive would like to give an account to the public or not is his decision, but we also have the responsibility of writing to him and inviting him to come. This cannot be substituted by a written statement to the public. We definitely have to invite him. Mr. KK Fong. Chairman. I think the major problem with Mr. C.Y. Leung ever since he got elected has been the UBW issue. This is not for one person to say that the UBW actually was built in which year, so on and so forth. What we're concerned is a series of things, and whether he has used lies to cover previous lies, and the truth cannot be revealed other than by questions and answers. So if I were the chief executive, I would definitely be happy to come. So any other questions from members apart from Ms. Emily Lau? Please press the button. Mr. Charles Mock. I also support the proposal of inviting the chief executive to come to Electrical. I am reading the statement at the moment, and it seems that, like Mr. Alan Leung has said, he admitted that he has been less than perfect in some of the areas. So definitely, for such an answer, members would like to ask follow-up questions. And if this opportunity is given for him to give a clear answer, then this will also ease the minds of members and the public as well. Many members already reflected their views, and that is we should invite the chief executive to come. I hope this can be reflected in the letter.
The chief executive talked about the UBWs here, but he has omitted the fact that he might have covered up his lies with another lie. I asked him at the meeting whether he rang up the editor-in-chief of the Mingpao Daily. According to Mr. Kevin Lau, he was merely returning his call. Now it has there is a question of credibility. The document is silent completely on this, and he said that he would deal with all these UBWs. I mean, he dealt with all these UBWs post haste, such that the reporters couldn't take any pictures of them. I think it's only proper for us to have a meeting with him for us to direct these questions at him. Ms. Helena Wong. I agree with Ms. Emily Lau that the chairman should write to the chief executive and invite him to give an account of the situation. I hope that the pro-establishment members would support this proposal as well, because we are ensuring that the members of the public would be able to understand the situation, and we would also give him an opportunity to clear his name if he feels aggrieved. The LegCo would be a very good platform for him to be frank and fair, and put aside of the story, and can also we also be able to put questions to him as to whether he was really wrongly accused of having problems. Now, as with above, so will below. Other than the chief executive, there are other officials who were involved in UBWs. If we are not allowed to discuss this, then I think we can stop pursuing the matter altogether. And I hope that you would relay this reasonable request to the chief executive. Mr. Tam Yu-chung, members have already stated their views. We haven't quite read the paper in full. Now, he has already given an account of himself as to whether he should come to LegCo. Then I think that we should leave it up to him to decide. Now, many members would insist that he comes here. We probably don't have to put it to the vote. You can write to him, inviting him, but I mean the decision should rest with the chief executive himself. Unless Sam Lau has anything to add, let's deal with the matter. I thought that it would be a simple matter. The chief executive has published a written statement. I'm not sure how soon he will be convening a press conference. Since he assumed office, I think this is one of the most severe crises, and this is a question of credibility. If LegCo doesn't follow up on this, then we will be falling down on our job. We don't have an objection to him explaining himself all over the place, but I mean, it seems that the central authorities are trying to fix us, but as a legislative council, we do have the obligation to make sure that he comes here and he gives a full account of himself. Well, I haven't read through the paper. I heard that there are pages of appendices. I said to him when we met him that he should give us a chronology of events, when the property was purchased, what happened when, and let the members of the public find out about the whole thing. Now we have come to this point. I think that we should put it to the vote. It would be very straightforward, and that is whether this committee agrees that the chairman should write to the chief executive and ask him to come and give an account of himself here in LegCo. Well, I haven't seen any objection. Can we put it to the vote, though? Now, you're asking me to invite the chief executive. Now, you immediately are writing to me to announce me to do so. I haven't heard any objection. If there is no objection, Chairman, how are you going to count the letter? Well, I'll be writing to CE and inviting him to explain. Well, I retracted the previous bit. I'll be inviting him. Don't get the message confused. It's not for me. I mean, I'm being entrusted by members to do the job. I'm merely a tool. I don't really have any particular comments. I'm merely conducting the meeting. Ms. Chen Yunhan. The FTU would like the chairman to relay our voices to the chief executive, and this is very much your job. Yes, this is indeed my job. I've been inviting the chief executive to appear at the council and explain the unauthorized building works at his peak residence. All agreed? Okay, then Mr. Sin Chung Kai would like to set up a subcommittee on electricity policy under the House Committee. Before I call upon Mr. Sin to speak, I must say that you should have consulted the views of the two panels before coming here. Because there are problems if the other panels were to raise an objection. Chairman, I would accept what you said. I will be going to the two panels next week. Well, if you read the editorial of the one-way power, you know things are really upon us. I understand that some protests took place outside the two power companies, and this is going to be a big issue. I take your words that there are panel meetings next week. The reason why I came to the House, because as I said, this cuts across the EDP and the EAP. It would take a bit of time for me to go to both panels, but I would take your request. You've been away for 4 years, Mr. Sin. Now, we said that we've decided that there can be joint subcommittees between two panels. Perhaps it's a good idea for you to consult the two panels. Should we have a subcommittee, or how we're going to proceed? And it would be a good idea. All right, any further views? If not, that's how we proceed. I've got no other business. The meeting adjourned. Just a reminder that the Finance Committee will take place at 5:30. So take your time.